So this is our Door Creator software, showing you how easy it is to program our CNC machines. You can begin with a template, but we will start from scratch for this demo. We start with the size of the door. You can see the boxes labeled width, height, and thickness, and a drop-down box for the handing of the door. We will next modify the desired edge of the door. From the edge type drop-down, we can choose square, bevel, radius, or convex. Next, we will go over to our selection box and add a light cutout. As you can see, the cutout will immediately appear in the 3D viewer. In the drop-down box, we can choose the shape that we want. We will fill in the dimension of the light and its location. We choose the drop-down of how to locate the light, and it updates in the viewer. Next, we will go to our selection box and add a lock. As you can see, the lock will immediately appear in the 3D viewer. In the drop-down box, we can choose the folder of the manufacturer we want. Then, we choose the template from the desired manufacturer. As we enter the desired position and hit refresh, the lock can be seen moving in our viewer. Now, we will add a hinge. We choose which template to use. We can change the location, backset, and thickness. Now we will add 2 more hinges by clicking the icon twice. You can see they copy what we have for the first hinge, so all we have to do is change the locations. Hitting the refresh updates all items. This is a full 3D model. So we can move it around and we have all the dimensions. We will now save what we have done and go to the CAM system. We open the file that we just created. After it is opened in the CAM system, we can click on DMOC, which stands for door machining, and we can see the tool paths created by the software. This is a 3D model as well, so it can be moved around to get your desired view. The code for the machine to run, called G-code, has been fully created at this point. If we click on Simulation, we can watch the machine run on the screen. This rendering is also in 3D and can be moved around to whatever is the best view for you to see the machining. This kinematic model is pre-drawn and will show the tools needed based on the door you have created. You can see the machine drilling the holes for the lock set. Next, it is cutting the bore for the cylinder. This is the 90-degree aggregate. We will use this to cut the hinge pockets and all horizontal work. After it is cutting the hinge pocket, it will cut the weld slot. It now goes over and cuts the strike and the weld holes. Now we can see the machine cutting out the light that we created. The simulation gives you an opportunity to make sure there are no interruptions in the tool paths. And we will go from watching the simulation to seeing the machine actually cutting the door from our Creator software. The machine will follow the same paths that you saw in the simulator. This, of course, is actual time, and in the simulator you can adjust how fast you want it to run. We start with the alignment notches for the 161, which are just through holes at this point until we cut the cylinder bore. Then it will drill the mounting holes. So this is the spiral bore, and it is cutting for the cylinder. It will do the top layer first, and then it will go through and cut the bottom layer. We do this in 2 steps to give an improved edge finish. And here's the right angle aggregate to cut the hinge pockets. It does the initial cutout, and you will be able to see the blank fall out if you watch real close. It'll be coming out, it'll go to the left, right there. Then it'll do a finish pass to give a smoother edge finish. And it is cutting the weld slots. We have options here. We can put in multiple weld holes or just customize it to whatever your preference is for welding in. And while it's running, I'll mention a couple things we do. Well, for vacuum, we use the frame of the machine for an accumulation tank so that vacuum comes on quickly. And we use a full dump valve to release the vacuum quickly so that the door is released right away when you're done machining. A couple other things, the electrical cabinet is mounted to the back of the bridge and it rides with it, and it's air conditioned. So you have a longer life of your electrical components because we do these important things to keep the machine running smoothly and running for a long time. Another thing would be an automatic oiler. We have the oil so that it will keep everything lubricated and you don't have to spend a lot of time doing weekly greasing or daily greasing, but it's all automatic, controlled by the CNC. Now it moves over and cuts the strike. This is also done in 2 passes, again to have an improved edge finish. We add the weld holes as well. I didn't mention it in the door creator, but we have the option of choosing what size radius you want in the corner, and we chose 60 thou radius, so that's what it is doing there, is cleaning up the corners. If you can live with an 1/8 inch, it goes faster. If you want a 16th radius, that's what it is doing now, is cleaning up the corners to give a closer to square. And most people, if they need it even more square, they just can hit it with a file real quickly, because 60 thou is quite small. Now we'll see it cutting the light. If you look closely, you can see that the head is oscillating up and down. It does 2 things. It gives a better edge finish, and it also gives longer tool life. Again, we'll do this in 2 passes. First the upper path, and then we'll do it through the lower layer. At the very end, when it finishes this light, then we'll go back and park, and when it does, you'll see the door pop up. That will be the rollers, the vacuum releasing, and then the rollers popping the door up, so then the door will be ready to roll off. So if you watch closely, right there, the pod's lifted up. Well, this concludes your presentation, and it looks like we have time for a question or two. So let's see. This question: can you size the doors? And the answer is yes. We have a saw option that lets you cut both the length and the width if you need to restyle or re-rail a door. And here's another: can you cut fiberglass doors? And the answer is yes, we can cut fiberglass doors on this same machine. We can also cut aluminum doors and trim, and with some modifications, but we offer machines to cut most door materials. Well, that's all that we have time for today. Any questions we didn't get to, we'll be responding to later. And if you think of questions after the presentation, please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll try and answer them for you. Well, thanks again for joining us today, and enjoy the DHI show.